What's up everybody, Sunkist here, and in today's video we're going to be going over a beginner commando build. It'll be for a full health human, but you could slightly adapt it to bloodied or ghoul if you'd like. We'll show you how to get some of the best starter armor, which is going to be heavy combat armor with the Brotherhood of Steel modification, so I'll show you where to get that in this video. It'll be centered around a submachine gun and or Eldritch Mark if you can get your hand on it, so I'll show you where to get the plans for the submachine gun, and essentially show you how to get everything you'll need for this build. I'd like to know down in the comments what's one thing you'd like to see added to Fallout in 2026, and there's a chance that you may be featured in my next video. Thanks for watching. Like, hype, and subscribe, and I'll catch you at the end. So now let's fight the Super Mutant Behemoth with 5 stacks per adrenaline. Here we go. I mean, pretty darn good. So go with the spouts. And she's crippled already. That is the beauty of this build. So to get our armor, we're going to go ahead and go over to the Watoga station. It's going to be down in the bottom right of the map. So from the fast travel point, you're just going to run up these stairs here. And we're going to go talk to the vendor right here. Scroll over to the notes section. And you're going to see that they have the heavy combat arms for sale. That's the only one I don't have yet for this character. So we go ahead and grab those, and then you can see right here, I already have the other heavy combat pieces that they also sell here. Now, in order to get our Brotherhood of Steel modification for the combat armor, we're going to go over to Crafting Station. So from the fast travel point, we're just going to run up to the building here and talk to the, I believe it's a responder vendor bot here. Yep, responder vendor bot. Scroll over to notes. Scroll down a little bit, and as you can see, we have the Brotherhood of Steel modifications, as well as we can get the deep pocketed mods, which is what I run personally on my combat armor. I have a few of the plans already, but we can scroll back down real quick here, and you'll see that where is it at? Yep, see deep pocketed combat armor limbs. So we have deep pocketed on all of our pieces. That'll give us an additional 50 carry weight, which you'll see once I'm breaking the armor down here in a moment. Taking a look at our armor here, we do have a full set of combat armor, or heavy combat armor, with essentially the Brotherhood of Steel modification. As you can see, it adds quite a bit extra damage resistance. And we have the deep pocketed mod because it gives us an extra plus 50 carry weight, which is always nice. It does just have random legendary effects here for everything. If you can, I would personally run Overeaters as the first star. The second star, I would run Powered, which gives you an extra 5% AP regen per piece, so you could get a total of an additional 25%. And the third star, I'd either run Arms Keeper or Through Hikers if you can, just because then you don't have to use food, drink, and chem weight reducing perks in your loadout to achieve the same thing. But taking a look at what the full set armor offers to us, let me scroll over. We are sitting at a total of 266 ballistic and 276 energy, so not too shabby for an early game armor set. Now, to get the plans for the submachine gun, we're going to go ahead and fast travel into the White Springs Mall and run to the end of this hallway and talk to the responders vendor once again. So he'll be right here. Go over to the notes, and I think I've already purchased it on this character. Maybe not, actually, I don't have it yet. Here we go, submachine gun. So we're going to go ahead and buy those plans. In order to get our attachments for the submachine gun, what we're going to want to do is go start crafting some submachine guns. So first off, you want to make sure that you have Super Duper on. This will give you a chance to double your crafting yield. So we'll throw that on, and we'll go ahead and craft a few low-level submachine guns. Don't worry about getting a high-level one. Just craft the lowest level one you need, because it'll be the least amount of material to craft. So we'll go ahead and just craft like 5 of these really quick here. Looks like we did get super duper to trigger, as you could hear by that noise and little icon there. But we'll go ahead and start scrapping these. And we should hopefully at least learn one of the mods. There we go. So we unlocked the suppressor and the compensator, which those actually won't be used for this build. But you get the point. So just scrap and craft these until you get the modifications that I'll show you in a moment here. Taking a look at our weapon here. For the actual modifications, I have the hardened receiver on here. I did craft this with one of my other characters, so you're going to want to scrap until you get the hardened receiver, the short light barrel, the recoil compensating stock, large drum, and the glow sights. You don't absolutely need all of this, but the glow sights is going to reduce your AP cost. As you can see, when I change off that, it increases our AP cost. Large drum gives us a 100-round mag, which is definitely really nice to have. This will also increase your AP accuracy if you have the recoil compensating stock. And I don't put anything on the muzzle just because the compensator and the flash hider, like all this stuff reduces your range quite a bit. I just wanted the range to be as long as possible. Since this is not going to be a stealth build, I didn't put a suppressor on there. If you do want to play a little stealthy, feel free to add one, but it does take off quite a bit of range. So I left the suppressor or any other muzzle off of there. Now, this is going to be hard, but if you can get your hands on these legendary modifications, Furious, Rapid, and VATS Optimized is definitely going to be what you want to go with for this build. If you're running a Bloodied character, you could run Bloodied as the first star, or any other damaging first star for that matter until you can get your hands on Furious, but definitely weapon speed and reduced AP cost for the second and third stars is what you're going to want. I suggest vendor hopping until you can find these modifications, post looking for group post, or check Reddit, those sorts of things. Maybe you could even find somebody to just craft these for you. Now, there is a legendary variant, named legendary variant of the submachine gun called the Elder's Mark, and that is honestly the best commando weapon in Fallout 76 currently. But the only way to get your hands on that is as a potential reward for completing the public event Beast of Burden, or it is also saleable and you could tradable between players if it has the original legendary modifications on it. You can change the modifications once you have it. So keep your eye out for Beast of Burden public event, and if you see it at a vendor, it should sell from anywhere between 2,000 and 6,000 caps, just depending on how somebody has it priced. Get your hands on that if you can. It has a built-in effect where it does extra damage, and it has a higher rate of fire just built in, so it's automatically just doing more DPS. Here's a quick look at our special point allocation. A quick note, I do have a total of 6 legendary perk cards on right now, which I have 5 of those as extra special points. So depending on what level you are and if you've made another character or not, you may have more or less of these at your disposal. I'll go over some perk cards that you could knock off of this build if you need to, but this build is mostly made for people that are between level 50 and 150. You don't need to be those levels, but that's just how this particular build is optimized. But yeah, starting with the legendary perk cards, we have taking one for the team. I run this on almost all my builds. It's just really good, a really good damage boost. And then I just have various +1 special points, so giving us an additional 5 special points to work within our build here. Now, if you had to cut stuff out of this build, I would probably start with the quality of life stuff. So you could cut 2 ranks of gunsmith out. You don't need that. You could cut field surgeon out. You could cut first aid. You could cut gun fu. So there's definitely ways to run more or less the same functional build as that I have here, but just wanted to put that out there. So we are mostly going to be kind of playing into limb damage here. So starting with strength, we have 1 rank of arms keeper and bandolier for weight management. 3 ranks of easy target to do extra crippled damage, or extra damage to crippled targets. Scattered shots to apply our damage across all limbs when shooting a particular limb. So essentially you can target the weak spot or the head and essentially cripple almost all of the limbs of an enemy over time. Traveling pharmacy to reduce our food drink, or to reduce our chem weight. Over in perception, we have number cruncher for a flat damage boost based on our AP cost. Tank killer for armor penetration. Tormentor to do an additional 20% damage per crippled limb, which obviously pairs really well with Easy Target and Scatter Shot. Concentrated Fire to gain focus fire as we're shooting, so the longer you shoot at something, the higher your VATS hit chance will get, and you also gain additional damage per shot. Over in Endurance, we have Starch Genes because I am running mutations, which you don't need to run. They are definitely helpful, and if you've completed the Enclave questline, I'll show you the mutations that I'm personally running. Life Giver to increase our max HP, Through Hiker, Thirst Quencher to increase our max AP, and Vaccinated to try and keep ourselves from getting a disease in the first place. Instead of Life Giver, if you wanted to, you could run 2 ranks of Ironclad to give yourself more damage reduction from your armor, but I just like to run Life Giver here. Strange in Numbers to buff our mutations. Again, don't need to run this if you don't have mutations yet. And I have Travel Agent so we can fast travel while over encumbered at an increased cost. Fortunately, all of the free fast travel locations like Vault 76 and the White Springs Mall are still free when you're over encumbered, so grab as much stuff as you want and then fast travel to the White Springs, and then you can stash everything away. Over in Intelligence, we have Good Assault, so our food doesn't spoil. Gunsmith, so our weapon doesn't break too fast. Field Surgeon and First Aid to just help ourselves heal faster when we need to heal. And over in Agility, we have Action Boy for extra AP regeneration. We also have Pack and Light for extra AP regeneration, so essentially you get extra AP regen if you're not over encumbered. Those two pair together really nicely for relatively quick AP regen. 3 ranks of Enforcer to increase our limb damage and have a chance to stagger the enemy. So again, pairs really well with Tormentor, Easy Target, and Scattershot. Guerrilla Expert, Guerrilla Master, Gunfu, and Gunslinger Expert are just to gain additional stacks of Onslaught. Over in Luck, we just have a pretty standard VATS critical build. I still have to put better criticals back on because I was crafting some stuff. But yeah, with Critical Savvy, 4-Leaf Clover, Ricochet, Quick Hands, with the potential chance to just completely reload our weapon. When the clip runs out, better criticals is always a great option. And 4-Leaf Clover is also really nice because when you miss a shot, it still contributes to filling your crit meter, which you want to crit as much as possible with this build. Now looking at the mutations, scroll over to those. We do have Adrenal Reaction, Bird Bones, Carnivore, Eagle Eyes, Egghead, Herd Mentality, Marsupial, and Speed Demon. This is pretty much what I run on all of my builds. The most helpful one here is probably going to be Adrenal Reaction and Eagle Eyes, since those just offer additional damage more or less. Also, just want to mention quick, here are the food buffs that I am running. All of these are just resource generated buffs that you can get if you're a carnivore. All the stuff from the Atomic Shop, you know, like the Mirelurk Steamer or the Deathclaw Rotisserie. You know, if you can use the free atoms that you get, I would definitely go with maybe the Mirelurk Steamer, just because having the smoked Mirelurk fillets for the extra carry weight is very, very helpful. But these are all the buffs that I am running, plus Company Tea. Let's see how we do against some super mutants and some other sorts of enemies here. As you can see, they get crippled pretty easily. Like a couple shots and they just immediately fall to their legs. I still like the tap fire though, just so that makes sure that sometimes the crippling can be a little bit delayed, and sometimes the critical hits don't fully register either. So that was a little bit laggy there, but for the most part, it's taking these enemies down pretty good, especially for a relatively minimalistic build. All right, we're over at the Grindstone Arch now. Gonna try and fight a super mutant behemoth, but first we're gonna get a few stacks of adrenaline up by defeating a few of these super mutants that are here. Looks like this guy is a little just out of reach here. I mean, as you can see, I barely taken any damage currently. And it looks like I might have lost my mutation buffs, so let me join this other guy really quick here. There we go. All right, so now let's fight the super mutant behemoth with 5 stacks for adrenaline. Here we go. I mean, pretty darn good. Over at Sunrise Field now, we're going to go ahead and test out how we do against the Mirelurks. Overall, they get crippled pretty quickly. Makes pretty short work of these Mirelurks so far. Our AP regen speed is also pretty quick here. Is there any more that I can get some more stacks of just out of reach there? Okay, we got 8 stacks of adrenaline. See if we can get the Mirelurk Queen to pop out here. So go with the spouts. And she's crippled already. That is the beauty of this build. Even if we're not killing this the fastest, let our AP regenerate a little bit here and finish her off. So even if we're not, you know, killing enemies super fast, we can neutralize them to the point where they can't really attack us in some instances. Thank you so much for making it to this point of the video. I really appreciate it. Like and subscribe if you haven't already to stick around for future content and some live streams. And I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks again.